Jeff, we're here.
Brent.
We're here. It's, oh my gosh.
It's the first finale of the season based on your little math that you laid out last week.
It's
God,
do you remember the Shadow of Vorlon thing? This is like the second finale of the season.
Maybe the third, right? Because we had the Shadow of Vorlon thing, we had the Centauri thing.
It's the 20th. It's the 20th, Jeff.
Yeah, we had the Minbari thing.
Every episode, right? Yeah. Man. This season, I don't know what's in store for episodes 21 and 22, but boy, episode 20 has kept its pattern for sure.
Right.
So, all right. Well, with that, hey, you guys out there, thank you for joining us. Jeff and I have just watched episode 20 Endgame of season 4 Babylon 5 for the very first time. And not just, it's been a couple of days, but anyway, we are getting ready to record an audio podcast. You guys are watching the behind the scenes. So this is not going to be polished. You guys are going to get all the mistakes, all the outtakes. This is how we make the show. You guys comment down below. Please keep everything spoiler free because we have not seen past this point. All right. Also, like, subscribe, share the video, all that sort of stuff. Jeff, if you're good, let's get into this. I want to talk about this episode.
Lot to dive into.
Go.
You are valued and you are needed.
You will be emperor. I think you're about to go where everyone has gone before.
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we are watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
Well, as Jeff said, we are watching Babylon 5 for the first time. We are doing this as two people who have had a lot of experience in Star Trek. So much experience, we had our own individual podcast over there. And we came together to say, we should do a podcast about Babylon 5. Well, how do we do it? And we looked at each other and said, I don't know. Let's just do what we do as Star Trek podcasters, but just do it to Babylon 5. And we went, cool. And here we are.
But this is not a Star Trek podcast, not one of our Star Trek podcasts at all.
Nope.
So to keep us honest and to keep those references at bay, we play the rule of 3. That means each one of us gets up to and no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. One of those plays. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brent.
You know what happens in 3 weeks?
I do know what happens in 3 weeks. Why don't you remind everybody?
We are going on a break.
Yeah, we're going to take like 6 months off.
Yes.
Take a little vacation.
Listen, we've been going hard at this for over a year now. And I think we've earned it.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, it's not like there's anything coming up in the next season or anything.
I think maybe we should just cut it down to 1 week. Let's take a 1 week break. And, you know, that just means we just don't have to watch an episode that week and do like a Brent watches or do a Jeff watches or anything like that. Why don't we just come together and we'll hang out for like an hour or change and we'll just kind of talk about season 4 as a whole rather than jumping into anything new. We'll call it the season 4 wrap up. How does that sound?
I love that idea. That's great.
You know what else we should do in the season 4 wrap up?
What's that?
We should give something away.
You think so?
Do you got anything over there on your shelf that maybe we could give away?
Like maybe this? The Babylon 5 Encyclopedia, the complete hardcover set in one massive paperback. Yes, I do have something we could give away.
Awesome. I think we should give that away. And you know what? I think the method we should use to give it away should be for the lovely folks who support this show so generously month after month. Keep the lights on around here. Honestly, keep our wives at bay.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Allow us to keep doing this.
Very
and, you know, upgrade some gear and all that sort of stuff that we pour into it and some software things and all of that. So we're going to give this to one of our patrons. And all you have to do out there is be a patron or become a patron before we record the season 4 wrap up. I promise you this. If you wait until like Sunday at midnight, the night before the wrap up is supposed to come out, we will have already recorded.
Yeah.
And we would still love for you to join us. But to be in the drawing for this, you just have to be a patron before we record sometime in the middle of that week.
Yeah. So the sooner, the better.
Yeah.
And you get your hands on the Babylon 5 Encyclopedia, donated by an anonymous listener. They wanted to remain anonymous, but
it is one of the most least appealing covers I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. It
is so
straight,
boring.
It is straight to the point. There's no fluff whatsoever.
There's nothing on that.
It's like buying a beer that says beer. This is what it is.
Right?
I love it.
Well, Jeff, along with giving stuff away and along with playing games like our Rule of Three, another game we like to play comes at the end of the episode where we like to predict what the next week's episode is going to be out based on title alone. Let me try that again. I wasn't another based on that alone. Yeah, let me try that again. Well, Jeff, along with doing giveaways and things like the Rule of Three, games like that, there's another game that we like to play here at Babylon 5 for the first time. And that game is when we get to the end of the episode and we predict what the next week's episode is going to be about based on title alone.
Yep.
Never having read a description, certainly never having seen it, and never even really trying to look at thumbnails or anything like that, which actually is a lot easier than you might think.
Actually, surprisingly so.
Just don't look,
Yeah.
Jeff, why don't you tell the folks out there what you predicted last week that this week was going to be about and tell us how close I'm going to tell you how close you were.
Yeah.
But you tell us what it was.
So I thought we were going to have Dr. Franklin take Ivanova to Babylon 5 and use the quality of mercy machine on her, balancing the draining of his life force to the pickup of her life force, that they'd both kind of recover together over the rest of the season. And then I thought that we were going to go after Mars, we were going to go after Earth, and that on Earth, Clark was going to get blowed up on his shadow destroyer ship by his own people after a war of words between him and Sheridan.
Your problem with that prediction?
It's very specific.
You got too specific. Yeah, see, the thing with having a great track record of predictions is you got to stay general, man.
Like, keep it up here. Keep it up here, and you're almost always right.
Right? Exactly. What's the next episode going to be about? That character. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's that character.
They're going to go and fight. They're going to fight for Earth. There you go. Oh, wait,
they told us at the end, it's time to go get Mars and Earth. That's what they're going to go do. Now, actually, listen, here's what you got. Ivanova winds back up on Babylon 5, and we get that quality of mercy machine.
Yeah.
That wasn't Franklin. Nope. There certainly was not balancing life forces. It wasn't Clark on a ship. You did get Clark. You did get Mars and Earth. You got that. Although I think it probably went down a little bit different than what you were thinking, but that's okay. I'm going to give you credit for Mars and Earth. I'm going to give you credit for Ivanova back on B5 with the quality of mercy machine, because that was a good pull. I hadn't even thought about that one.
Thanks.
And Jeff, I'm going to give you 0.4 of a star.
I love that.
Almost halfway, but your too specific stuff got you not right at halfway.
Yeah, totally backed me into a corner. What did you guess?
Well, I said that this was going to be the end of the Earth Alliance and Resistance War. They're going to get it. They're going to get Mars and Earth in this one, and it was going to be the big battle. And this, for all intents and purposes, is the climax of the season, because that's what happens in episode 20 in Babylon 5.
Time and time again.
And that's what happened.
And once again, staying up really high at like the 50,000 foot level, you nailed it. So you get a full point. You got the whole shebang on this one.
Yeah. Well, but I think the bigger prediction here was this is going to be a climax level type episode.
Yes.
And it was.
It was.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like next week, can I tell you what next week's going to be about? I don't even know what
you gotta wait. Games are games because they have rules.
You want to know why? Can I tell you why I already have my prediction for next week?
Why?
Because they told us in this episode what they're going to do.
Uh-huh.
They already told us what they're going to do.
I'm really excited to get to this part because I have a feeling we're going to say almost exactly the same thing.
Probably. But you're gonna start adding details. I'm gonna be like, nope, it's this right here.
going to get very specific again. That's where I mess up. Well, for those of you who want to get specific, who are wondering just what exactly happened in this climax level episode, episode 20 of season 4, Brent, why don't you tell us about Endgame?
Well, hey, you remember all the way back? Let me try that again. Well, hey, do you remember all the way back in season 2 in the episode with Captain Swamp Rat that we had this big old discussion about the nature of hyperspace and how people can just kind of hang out in that thing? Well, that comes back to pay off in this episode, and the entire Resistance fleet, both Earthship and Alien, are gathering and staging for their final push in hyperspace. Everyone's getting their game face on. Their end game face on. Everyone that is, except, sorry.
You were soaking that in. Like, you're just like, go ahead, keep clapping. I know it's good.
Well, I lost my place. I was trying to find my, but yes, I was, let it hang for effect. Pause for effect. All right, here we go. Everyone that is, except for Marcus, who is standing watch over a comatose Ivanova. That is, until Delenn comes in to tell him that Ivanova is about to head back to Babylon 5 on. That is, until Delenn comes in to tell him that Ivanova is about to head back to Babylon 5 on a Minbari ship so that she can be more comfortable while she dies. Marcus doesn't like it, but he leaves to take his spot on the bridge in command of the White Star. Down on Mars, the Resistance is meeting with Captain Kelly. She is helping the Resistance sneak 30 of the shadow-enhanced telepaths onto President Clark loyal ships, cryo chamber and all. It's not going to be easy, but she'll get it done. Meanwhile, Garibaldi, Franklin, and Lita and a team of red shirts are out on the Martian surface, and they're taking over several of the ground stations that control the Mars defense grid. Once they have control, Franklin outfits Lita with an antenna booster, and Snow White and the Seven Dwarves are all in position and ready to go. Back in hyperspace, not really going anywhere at all because you can just stand still in hyperspace, Sheridan relays the plan. We're going to take Mars super quick, and then we're going to turn and go straight for Earth. And to keep it all legit, only humans are to be in command of the ships engaging the battle. All alien commanded ships are to remain behind and be support only, and only defending themselves. Along with the Resistance fleet, Earth fleet is also ready. In command, General Lefcourt, an old instructor of Sheridan's from back in his days at the Academy. Lefcourt got this job because he knows how Sheridan thinks. He communicates to the entire fleet and reminds them that the enemy is the enemy. They have to forget that all those people over there are folks that they know. They are nothing more than targets to be destroyed. That is all. And with that, the battle begins. With Garibaldi's help, Marcus opens a jump point inside Mars's atmosphere, buzzes the tower, makes the dude spill some coffee on his shirt, and then moves on. P.S. Marcus is pretty much a badass. Sorry, Jeff. Because he is performing this extremely delicate and super dangerous maneuver, all the while, he can't even stop thinking about Ivanova. His mind isn't even on the mission at all, and he's still doing this. How awesome is that? Lefcourt doesn't fall for this distraction, though. But he can't stand not knowing what ace Sheridan seems to have up his sleeve. That's when Lita, using her big antenna thing, wakes up all the shadow telepaths. 30 of Earth Force 35 ships have one of these guys on them. And the first thing they'll all do when they wake up, search for the computer to merge with it and take over. We get a short discussion on the ethics of using these zombie telepaths in this way. And then it's immediately on to the next wave of the attack. Sheridan advances and yellow swirly things open up all over the area. And that's when we hear the Falcon say, "On your left," as he flies by. Over on the other side, Black Panther and the crew walk through, and then Spider-Man, and then the Guardians, and then all the girl superheroes as well. But the shadow telepaths have done their job. There are only a handful of ships left in the fight, and it's time for the space battle, which actually doesn't take very long at all because Earth Force is way outnumbered. Even Left Court's ship becomes disabled too, and with that, the liberation of Mars is complete. Time to turn for Earth. But not so fast. Marcus completely abandons his post mid-battle, does a quick Google search on the archives, and discovers that device from Quality of Mercy that Jeff predicted. Marcus deserts his crew and heads screaming for Babylon 5. I got myself a plan. 10 points to anyone who gets that reference. So disappointed in you, Jeff. Sheridan is a little miffed, but he can't think about that right now because he is staying on mission and he's got to get to Earth. It's time for the Battle of Earth, except there is no battle. Sheridan just comes over the loudspeaker to encourage the entire citizenry of Earth to rise up. And as they do, we see Clark in his office scribbling on a piece of paper, punching some buttons, and Earth's defense grid turns to take on the fleet. That's right. The fleet is fighting the grid, the AI, while Clark takes a PPG and does the unthinkable. He shoots himself just as his office door is breached by the resistance led by Senator Crosby. It seems that Clark has activated the Scorched Earth protocol just before offing himself. Scorched Earth means that Earth's defense grid will now turn on Earth itself. This is not good. This is where the big fight truly happens. Several ships are lost, getting in the way, but there is also a lot of defense grid platforms that are lost. The only one that remains, and it's pointed right at me here in Florida. I'm sorry. Only one of those defense grids remain, and it's pointed right at me here in Florida. But Sheridan's ship, the Agamemnon, has been disabled. And so Sheridan does the only thing he can do. He orders ramming speed. If he can't shoot it, he'll plow into it. But hold the phone. Dun, dun, dun! A jump point opens, and a fully operational USS Apollo, commanded by General Leftcourt, arrives just in the nick of time to destroy the final defense grid, save the day, and we get a money shot of the Agamemnon flying through the fiery debris unscathed. Leftcourt welcomes Sheridan home. Says he's still going to have to face the inquiry board, though, but, welcome home. And with that, our old reporter friend for ISN, Jane, is back on the air. She's a little emotional, as you can understand, but she has replaced the very fake lady reporter from Clark's time of ISN. Jane seems really grateful to be back because the last few years have been bad. She says now it's time for humans to come back together and begin the process of healing and She says it's time for humans to come back together and begin the process of healing and rebuilding. And now we go out on a cut to Marcus, who was caught up with Ivanova at Babylon 5. Sure enough, he has found that device, and he is transferring his life force into Ivanova. And for the first time out loud, he declares his love for her. Jeff, what were your impressions of this episode, Endgame?
I feel like I need to say this was a great episode. I need to start out by saying that. I loved all of the Mars liberation stuff. I kind of love General Left Court, right? The whole game recognized game thing that he had going on.
Jeff, I feel like that's a future episode of Starfleet Leadership Academy.
The Left Court piece?
Yeah.
Seriously. Because like he's just doing his job, but he's old school, but also like what came at the end. There's a lot to dive in there. I love to call back to jump gates in the atmosphere. I think that was messages from Earth when we saw that the first time, and that was leaving an atmosphere, but it's pretty cool they brought that back. I liked the plan for the Teepsicles. Like, I'm okay with what they did. It's pretty dark, ends justify the means kind of stuff, but they never made any bones about it. You know what I mean? Like from the minute, like Franklin kind of, even Sheridan was weird about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that. But I kind of hate to say this about like an episode 20 in Babylon 5, but I was pretty disappointed in quite a few things in this episode. Like quite a few. So I thought last week of the Quality of Mercy thing. How come like no one else thought of that? Sheridan or Franklin or anybody? Like why did Jeff have to think of that? And then Marcus had to do a Google search to find it. Like that I don't know. That kind of bothered me. Yes, in the back.
Excuse me. I believe that the reason that nobody thought about it was because Franklin said that we can't use this again under any circumstance for any reason.
Yeah, that's the thing
And
they
so
said.
they put it out of their mind, and they wouldn't have used it even if they thought about it.
That's the thing Franklin said in his personal log on this episode. Sheridan never said that and probably never heard it. And Sheridan probably would have dusted it off for his good dear friend Ivanova, I would think. Like, think about that. Like, if you had a dear friend, colleague, someone that you'd, gone to the mattresses with and, just really come through some stuff, and you got a thing back here that could save their life at potential high cost, but could do it, are you going to not say anything about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's what I would have done, because this seems to me to the answer. All right, I'm going to hook up for 30 seconds, then I'm going to get off. And then you're going to hook up for 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do is we're all going to pull our life forces together and give a little bit, and she's going to get all of her life force back.
Yeah, we're going to donate blood this whole thing. We're going to each give a pint. I would think that's the thing.
Yes.
But nope. Instead, we had to have somebody go rogue. The liberation.
Let me ask you. Can I ask about that though?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the other thing. Now, Marcus certainly qualifies this, but Sheridan's a soldier. Ivanova's a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin, while a doctor, grew up as a soldier's son, and is also a soldier, right? Garibaldi's a soldier, although he wasn't really a part of this. Delenn understands the fabric of life.
Mm-hmm.
All of those people accept death as a very real, possible outcome for the job that they do.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that includes Ivanova. And coming back from the dead like that, man. I mean, if you've watched any sci-fi whatsoever, you'll know that messes people up.
But she wasn't dead yet, though.
Well, yeah, that's true. But she should have been dead.
Because I'm thinking last week when she's there and she tells Sheridan to get on the Agamemnon, Sheridan should have been like, I'll do that. You head to Babylon 5 and here's the game plan. Like, let's do that.
Yep. Go wait for us. And here we go. I agree. I'm trying to give you an answer for why in universe, because out of universe, what's the real answer? We needed Marcus to go be crazy and do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real answer.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree at all. I think it makes sense. I'm just thinking in terms of TV where it's like,
but in universe, the in universe answer, the only thing I can really come up with you on that is just as soldiers, they accept that this is the lot, and we're not going to use that even on a soldier
because it's a terrible thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think I don't know. Just didn't sit. It didn't sit great.
Let me grasp those straws a little more.
They're good straws, though. I mean, they're graspable.
Yeah.
They make sense.
Yeah.
I think those straws work better than some of these other ones they were grasping at. Like, hey, let's go to Earth, and we're going to take this down. And Sheridan gets on, the on the communicator and starts talking out, and then literally like 4 seconds later, Clark shoots himself. Like, there's no buildup, there's no tension, no explanation, just scribbling codes on like. What was that? Right? Like, to me, it made no narrative sense without a chunk of stuff in between that we never ever got. Like, and then he's dead, so it's just over. There's no sycophants, there's no Wells, there's no Night Watch people coming up to be like this, that, and the other. It was anticlimactic to me. The whole thing was just anticlimactic. The whole Clark finish was just like, oh, I guess we're done. I felt rushed, and honestly, I feel kind of cheated. After all this time, I mean, we're looking at 3 seasons of President Clark and him doing all of his stuff, and he just randomly decides to kill himself, and everything's done and solved. Now, the space battle, that thing with the Apollo coming out and hitting it, and that scene with the Agamemnon coming through, like that was awesome. That was epic. That was huge. It was great. But that stuff just kind of, I don't know. But I do have one last thought. And that is, and this is a thought and a message directly to JMS.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you dare kill Marcus. You do not harm a hair on his beautiful head. Don't you dare kill him. I will come for you.
I don't think we're losing either one, Jeff.
I don't think
like,
so either.
I was really worried about Ivanova last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, because I mean, think about it. When did Jadzia Dax die? It wasn't the final episode.
Nope.
It was the next to last or next to last or something like that. Like,
what was the next to last of the second to last season?
Right. But I mean, that was a contract thing. So she was gone, but it's not like they killed her in the final episode and let her go away. Like, they killed her and then dealt with it a little bit in that season. So I was thinking Ivanova was gone when they did that last week and we saw her, the halo and everything. I was like,
that's it.
Well, actually, when she got hit, I was like, oh, she's done. Like, that is, or she leave? Oh no! And then I saw the halo, and I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna do something.
Hold on.
Yeah. But here, like, I could see both of them surviving, but right now, and I guess I'll just spoil this piece. Also, either one could die, or both could die. Both could be leaving the show.
Oh, that'd be big.
You know. Because here's the thing, somebody has to die in war. If somebody that you don't know, if the only people who are dying are people you don't know or don't care about, then it doesn't matter, right? So in order for this war to actually have teeth, somebody on the DVD cover has to die.
God, and it's got to be between Marcus and Ivanova?
And it could be either one at this point.
God, can it be Franklin? I mean, I'm on the Franklin train. I'm good with him, but like, if I got to pick one of them, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
Maybe even Lita. I don't know. Is she on the cover? I don't know.
Yeah, well, she's in the opening credits.
Well, what were your thoughts on this one? What did you think of it?
Well, let me start this by saying I really loved this episode. I enjoyed this episode all the way through. While I could sit here and nitpick little things like what you've got, I'm simply just gonna say, what is wrong with you, Jeff? This was a fantastic finale to this whole deal. Even with Clark and these pieces, I don't need Clark in a thing trying to figure this out. He knows the end is up. He's done. There's this, where did Senator Crosby come from all of a sudden with all these people? I don't care, because you know why? Clark has pissed off so many people, and you know, we got the one line from Sheridan saying, listen, we know you've been scared to rise up because of retaliation. Don't fear it anymore. Go do what you got to do. And they said, they said, we going, let's go. And I, you know, I could even see a little bit of a progress of time, and Clark knows the game is up. He knows it's done, and he would rather go out because he has dictator's control with a fingernail's grip. you know, and he realizes that all of his fingernails just got ripped off. You know what I mean? And he's fallen, and rather than get taken out, he's going to go out on his own terms. Yeah, I thought this from start to finish. I thought bringing back Ivanova and Marcus and setting that whole piece up. I hated the idea that Marcus deserted his people to go after this girl that he just couldn't get his mind off of. Marcus is a soldier, to go after a fellow soldier.
Yeah.
That was so out of character for him, but I understood. I got it. Listen, Ivanova for 3 years or 2 years, however long Marcus has been around, hasn't barely given him the time of day. And now he's going to go be like this? No. Not in the middle of battle. Not in the middle of battle. With no word to anybody.
And
that's
the battle. Like not just a battle, but the battle.
Exactly. And I was so mad. Dramatically, I get it. If he makes it through this, Sheridan needs to kill him.
Wow.
Like that is irredeemable.
What do they do to Rangers, right? Like I could see that being a Minbari thing. Well, no, yeah, because Minbari don't kill other Minbari, but I could see like some horrible exile that they do.
You know, when I saw that final scene of him sitting there kind of leaned over Ivanova's body, like two thoughts came to my mind. One, I kind of saw like, is this going to be a Romeo Juliet thing? Like she's going to go down, so he's going to come sacrifice himself for her, but then she's going to wake up and try to like kill herself, and they're both basically going to wind up dead here at the end. And you know, like, and then they're both leaving the show. Like I'm saying, like they both can't be leaving. There's no way. There's no way. But then I also wonder, was his badge going to shed those tears that they talked about?
Oh, that's right.
Like I was watching the badge to see if it had any tears coming down. I didn't see any.
Well, I think on that, there's a very hard and fast rule in at least science fiction, if not a lot of other genres as well. But until you see the body, dude ain't dead.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't see them take their last breath on screen, they ain't dead. Yep. And even if you do see them take their last breath, just wait, because we'll bring them back anyway.
Somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. I could think of one character in particular that I've seen die 3 times now.
Yeah. Let me look up. Hold on. Let me see if I have
visually on screen. I've seen this character die.
Just gonna see if I have any data on that drop.
Well, you know.
I'll take that one.
Just it's in the lore out there of how things work, and you've got to look for it before you find some other things. And you know, I mean, maybe Brent just needs to get a spine or something. Maybe
you can find a song to sing or something about that. And
Jeff, it's about Noonian. Why don't we continue here?
It's a good idea. We keep lolling our way around the issue. But hey, you're right. This was a great episode. I'm not saying this wasn't a great episode. I'm just saying that
Hey, do you know what I spotted?
What's that?
Did you see the cat?
Oh,
spot.
Oh,
come on, Sherlock.
Wow.
Jeez.
I see what you're doing.
Hello. Do you need to open your chest? Pull the phone out. Let's go.
Shakespearean around.
Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
We'll keep going.
Oh my God.
Well, listen, we're kind of on the topic. Do you want to just talk through the Marcus and Ivanova stuff? Anything else that's in there? I don't know what else.
Honestly, I've talked through it.
I think the only thing I would say the only thing I would add is I completely agree with the irresponsibility and how it doesn't line up with Marcus for him to take off. Understanding that he needed the speed of the White Star Had he taken a shuttle or something other than a White Star off the field of battle, I would understand Sheridan not killing him. But not only did he take himself off of the field, he took one of their primary weapons off the field as well. And I don't want to see Sheridan kill him. I don't want to see him die. I was very clear about that. But what he did was inexcusable. And even if his little badge doesn't cry tears, he needs to no longer be a Ranger.
Yeah.
At a minimum at the end of this.
Yep. Yep. There does have to be a little bit of compartmentalization. And, you know, I mean, the other thing, look, Marcus apparently has never been in love before. He thinks he's in love. He thinks he knows what love is. I would posit he doesn't know what love is. But he's just got his head all wrapped around this. And just because she said she spoke Minbari to him now.
Yeah.
And he sees hope and like things were done differently in the 90s, Jeff. This was a heroic thing. Go sacrifice yourself for the woman you love. This was, you know, this was not supposed to be anything bad that he was doing. But yeah.
This is what the kids, I mean, let me make a super old man statement here.
Right.
This is what the kids call mid. This is a middle school thing to do, right? Oh my gosh. She held my hand and now she's in love with. She didn't hold your hand. She got close and her hand brushed up against yours.
Yep.
And now you think it's on. And you don't even know what on is.
Yep.
But you're gonna go sacrifice everything for her.
I'll tell you one that always jumps out to me. Is in the Harry Potter series. You have Professor Snape. And people have tattooed this on their arm. Gets all the way to the end, and all this time he's held this secret thing for Harry's mom. And after, you know, he goes, after all this time, and he goes, always. Dude, you were in school. That was 15, 20 years ago.
At least you were a child.
You have never gotten over a childhood crush? And you have maintained this thing this whole time? Dude, that's not sweet. You need help.
Yeah, it's creepy and you need help. And
that is, dude, you've got to let that go. She said no. Move on to someone else. Oh, Jeff, we're getting so many emails for me saying this right now. People with examples from their own life. No, listen, no, it was sweet in the book and in the moment, and it sounded good.
Well, here's the thing.
When you really think about it,
If you are in love with and you're still with or whatever your high school sweetheart, good on you. That's amazing. Almost all the time that doesn't work. For you it did, and that's beautiful. I love it. But most people it doesn't. And also, if it wasn't a high school romance, it was a high school rejection. You move
and you
past
maintained that.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
She said no, dude. She said no. Move on.
So on Mars, you brought up, was it Kelly, Captain Kelly or somebody?
I don't know that she was a captain. I'm pretty sure her name was Kelly. I think I heard. I just called her Captain Kelly.
I like it. I didn't catch her name, but
yeah.
What I got out of this between her, the people in the bunker, the one lady who was just like, hey, what's going on out there? The same thing that's going on in here. Boom. Like, it's cool to see that the Resistance actively has people throughout Earth Force, you know, kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
I feel like Earth went all in on Mars, though. Like you said in the recap, they fought the defense grid at Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
35 destroyers at Mars. Wow. And where were those big Omega class ones, right? The big Shadow ones? Was that, do we already see that?
They were there. Yeah, they were there, but they didn't, they did now that was a disappointment because they did this big thing where we got these shadow souped up ships and it made no difference whatsoever. I promise you people are hitting in the chat right now all the ways that it actually made a difference. It did not make a difference.
It made a difference in that it damaged the White Star that Ivanova was on so that they could run into a piece of shrapnel and hurt her. That's the difference it made. They could have done that with regular destroyers as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it's not like the telepaths needed to have the shadow enhanced ship in order to merge. It's because it sounded like they could just merge with whatever computer.
Yeah, and we
They
saw
could
that.
find.
We saw that when Carolyn was at Babylon 5. She merged
That's
with
right.
that computer.
With the computer, not with the shadow thing at all.
Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I that talk about a dropped thread. You know,
Right?
and what if that shadow ship that you say Earth has is still out there, Area 51?
Yeah. And is going to
You know?
show up here later in the season, a last ditch thing.
I guess.
I'm a lot less confident they have a shadow ship though at this point.
Yeah.
But I appreciate like the Mars thing had a lot of great callbacks. You know, I had the jump gate in the atmosphere thing I brought up before. It had the gear that Franklin was loading up on Lita. That was the whole exercise of vital powers thing when they kind of figured out what the stuff was doing. So I thought that was really cool. My question, though, I was going to say, I have two questions on the Teepsicle thing. First one is, I wonder if Carolyn was one of the 30 that was sent out.
How many Teepsicles did they have?
You know, in
because I thought they sent them all.
In the Illusion of Truth, they talked about it. And I want to say 50. So I don't think they sent all of them.
So they held some back?
I think so.
Okay, why would you send 30 if they have 35 ships? Just go 35.
Yeah, but also they probably didn't know if they were going to have 35. You know, I mean, how did he know what they were going to have and load it? Because they had to do a lot of moving around. But here's my big question for you.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Teepsicle plan? Like, given everything that was built up about it, and then they played it out, what did you think of it?
The entire plan hinged on Lita being able to do what she did with an amplifier. I thought it was a very risky move. I thought that it was a very ballsy move. Play this game with me, Jeff. If that didn't work, what happens?
It all falls apart.
Does it?
I think it does.
No, because at that point now you just have an all-out battle between the Earth ships and the Resistance ships. Which how many of again I go back to how many people actually defected from Earth? If all they had was 35 left, right? But 5 went before lunch on one day, and more were coming every day, right? Like how many of these ships actually came over? Plus all the White Stars, which we saw a White Star take out a shadow ship.
Yeah.
Surely you can take out an old Earth ship.
But they're not trying. So the thing that I see, though, one, they don't want to take out the ships, you know, because they're moving surgically and slow, and they got to go through that whole process of who wants to surrender and all that stuff. Then on top of that, the plan was a hit and run on Mars to get to Earth, because if they didn't, then Earth would stand up more defenses at Earth, and they wouldn't have enough to make that stand. And I think that got played out when they realized Marcus took off. And Delenn called Sheridan up on the Agamemnon, and he was like, well, let's go after him. And she's like, we can't. Like, where's the other way around? You know, hey, do you want to go after him? We can't. Like, we're pot committed at this point. And I think that if this plan with the Teepsicles and Lita didn't work, Earth would have been off the table for them. They would have made a stand at Mars and not been able to move on.
Right, but I don't think that it would have all fallen apart. I think they would have made their stand on Mars. Maybe they couldn't have turned to Earth just yet, and they would have to stop. And, you know, this turns into next week's episode or the week after when it all falls. I mean, because that makes a good, honestly, Jeff, that makes the cliffhanger. You get it set up. She goes in, wake up. And then nobody wakes up. Or wake up. And they all get out and they're moving. And then all of a sudden, like, soldiers just shoot them in the head. Just shoot them in the head because you are some zombie thing, and nobody really takes over. Like, doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And then you go, oh no, they're not able to, no, we've got to still fight them. And then you come back and your opening shot next week is the fight,
the actual
space
battle.
Yeah. You know, and then you move on to some, you know, while that's happening, people on Earth decide that they've had enough of Clark, and so they're going to rise up on Earth as well, and
Yeah.
whatever. But your point, Jeff, I want to take what you said, and that the White Star Fleet was not trying to blow up the ships. Put a pin in that. I want to come back to that.
Okay.
Question. This might actually back up to the discussion we were having on Marcus before we get too far away from that. When he goes in and he starts doing his little Google search, and he comes across Franklin's thing, he mentions a name. Kaylin James has died. Was that the lounge singer from Walkabout?
Yes.
Was that a shout out to that?
Yeah. I appreciated that. That was pretty cool.
Jeff, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What did you think of EarthGov or Earth Dome or whomever sending General Leftcourt to take over command of the ship from the captain? Instead of just sending him to be in charge of the fleet and let the captain be the captain, let Charlie stay there. No. He actually took over command of the ship, frankly, against Charlie's will. What's your thoughts, Leadership One?
Well, I honestly, I don't have enough context to have real thoughts on it. I don't know this other guy. He apparently seems good. Leftcourt thought he was future general material or whatever. I saw it really almost more as just a mirror of what was happening on Agamemnon. Sheridan was commanding the fleet from a ship. He had the blessing of the captain is the big difference, but I think it just kind of shows that difference between the two, where Sheridan can command from that ship with the support of everyone, where Leftcourt has to be ordered in to take command of the fleet to do it. But I also understood the reasoning behind it. We saw he understood Sheridan's tactics up to a point. He demonstrated that. I thought that was cool. But I mean, in a high level thing, that's messed up to do. That's straight messed up stuff. Like, you don't do that. But there's a lot of pieces at play here that we haven't seen and don't have for me to really have a real opinion of it. But I saw it more as just a way to mirror the way Sheridan is running his crew versus Clark is running his. You were talking earlier about like just shooting all the teeps in the head, and that didn't work. And I thought that was pretty funny how on the Apollo, and I love that they got the same actor from the Exercise of Vital Powers. I love that guy and his big eyes, and he's just great. But they got him in, and then the security guys busted in, used a PPG again to shoot down doors through a bulkhead, which I didn't think PPGs could do, but apparently they do. We've seen them do it quite a bit now. But he shoots force lightning at them, and which is you don't even see. You just see it come out of his fingers. They don't even anything, and they just shoot him and kill him. But he did lasting damage to the computer systems. That whole scene was kind of weird. Like, I get what they were going for, but had they never showed him shooting the force lightning, it would have made a lot more sense. So they hit Mars.
We've seen that a few times in the show, haven't we?
The force lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way back to Born to the Purple, where Gene Simmons, the slave driver guy, had those shock gloves.
That's right. I got to tell you, though, Jeff, on a completely other level, no one does a good hurrah speech like Bruce Boxleitner.
Oh, my gosh.
We've heard a handful of these from him over the course of his time here in Babylon 5. We are coming home. I'm just like, yeah, I'll follow you to the moon and back.
Last week you said we should do a top 5 list of Ivanova things. We should also do a top 5 list of Sheridan speeches. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I do it. Let's rank them.
Yeah, they're great. This one was so good. These are your sons. These are your daughters. Their loyalty has never wavered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
So good. Okay, let's just talk about Clark shooting himself. Outside of your issues with that, I did not see that being the end for Clark.
No?
I didn't see that being what was coming.
Oh,
I didn't see it coming at all. I was like, oh, that's okay. That's how he wants to go out.
I clearly had a very different view, of what was going to happen,
Yeah.
my prediction. But once he did it, like to your point earlier, like that's the dictator thing to do. Hitler did that, instead of getting captured or whatever, it makes like that's on brand.
Yeah. If you have the ability to do that before you get captured, then otherwise, because if they capture you alive,
Oof.
you didn't think they were getting ready to capture you.
Yeah.
Because not good stuff's about to happen. I don't know that I liked the Apollo coming out of the jump point at the end to save the Agamemnon. That's the bad guy. He was against this whole thing, and now he's coming in Deus Ex Machina. I hate Deus Ex Machina. And that's what he was. Like, he comes in right at the end to say, like, let Sheridan and the Agamemnon blow, ram right into the guy. Sheridan doesn't have to die. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's a big ship. It can take it.
It's huge. It's a massive ship. And he's way back in the back, in the little spinny area.
The only thing is they are ramming into like a housing thing for missiles and stuff that all goes boom. So that might make some things go
but
boom.
It's not necessarily all armed or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know.
Right.
I was it felt
that's where Marcus should have come flying back in with the White Star that he stolen after having done whatever he did with Ivanova, and now he's back and he shoots it as he goes or something.
Yeah, which would have been a little better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it felt contrived, just the whole like there's one left and we're the only ones close. Really?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Like
absolutely contrived, exactly what they needed for the narrative.
Yeah.
They hung a lantern. They told you, yes, this is what we're doing. And okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, I literally, when I was watching it, and you could see me watch it the first time on our Patreon, and if you join our Patreon, you're in the drawing to win the Babylon 5 encyclopedia. But like, there's that pause, and I'm just like, ramming speed. And it's because this happens. This is what happens.
What movie is that from? There is a movie or a TV show like ramming speed, and I cannot I hear it in my head. I cannot place it.
Yeah, it's all of them. Like, I think it's been said so often.
Yeah, but it's I don't know.
But there's one that's hitting you.
Yeah, there's one in specific.
But I was okay with the Apollo thing for the narrative arc, the message arc I talked about.
Wait,
what?
Isn't it Worf in the Defiant?
Was it?
Wasn't it? Perhaps today is a good day to die. Ramming speed.
It doesn't narrow it down at all. I'm saying that.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna look it up. It won't even let me search. It's literally like telling me to not do it, so I just won't. I tried. I'm honestly okay though with the Apollo having done it, because I think there's this like that message narrative arc I talked about last week around, I just follow the orders. I'm just doing my job. So does that make me evil or not? And what we saw was literally the second the chain of command switched, Left Court was like, oh, okay, now I'm not going to blow you up anymore. Like literally 5 minutes ago, I told my crew to not think of you as humans, but to think of you as an enemy and blow you away.
Yeah.
But now one guy died. And so everything changes, and now I'm going to come in and save the day. To be clear, I also hate it, but I think it supports the ongoing narrative of people, it's Clark giving the orders, but everybody else pulling the trigger.
The only way that I could say that is if he is really loyal to Earth Gov, not to the person, right? Which means even if the wrong person is in, he's still loyal to the Gov. He could recognize that it was the Earth Gov that deposed Clark after he shot himself, and this new Earth Gov immediately doesn't want to blow up Sheridan.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can give you on that.
Yeah.
And that's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but it's reasonable. And I think it still supports that thread of I'm just following orders.
I mean, unless he got orders from EarthGov that says stand down, do not harm Sheridan. Like, and I need to see him get those orders, or I need to hear in the next episode somebody say, "We gave him orders to not shoot you."
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Jeff, you served on a submarine. The entire movie of Crimson Tide was based on this concept. You are given orders. Your communications buoy gets severed.
You follow those orders.
You have no way of getting new orders. Do you continue following those orders, or do you do something to where you can reestablish and double check to make sure you're still supposed to follow those orders?
Yeah, and Crimson Tide explored that really well. You basically follow those orders unless something else comes in. Because we talked about this a couple episodes ago where like they don't want automatons. They want people that can critically think, but you still follow orders until other stuff presents itself to show that, you know, something. And that's what happened in Crimson Tide. Here, I don't know if like you said, I don't know if anything was presented to him. He was just telling people to murder people and then showed up and saved the day.
Like I said, I don't like that he was the one who showed up. It doesn't sit well with me at all. But I still loved it.
The scene was great. That was
dude,
so cool.
The money shot of the Agamemnon coming through the fiery fireball. Oh my gosh, so good.
And Delen's screaming, right, John! And then he comes through and it's great, and the music picked up, and it was so great good. Scene.
And then you go to the ISN reporter Jane, who is like in tears over being back on. Said it's been however many, it's been over a year since martial law was declared. And oh my gosh.
She was great. So emotional. Like, that was really good.
I'd honestly forgotten about her in the whole ISN thing.
Same.
Like, I'd forgotten about her. But as soon as she was on, I was like, oh yeah, this lady, I remember her.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I'll say, despite dude being the guy who saved the day, when he said, yeah, of course you're still going to have to stand before the board of inquiry. That is 100% fair.
Yes.
Sheridan's coming back, hero of the whole deal. You're still going to have to go through that piece. You're going to be fine, but you still got to go through that whole piece.
Yeah. I think that's what like due process is built around. You know, it's
right.
whether you saved the day or not, you did things. And we got to figure that we got to go through the process. And I think, and we'll talk about this in a while we get to predictions, but I think that compared to, I'll just keep it super high level and say, compared to other people who took shots at an established government in our recent history, I believe Sheridan will be honored, eager, and willing to step forward and answer that investigatory board or whatever it is. He will show that he was right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brent, I think we've reached that part of the show where we boil this all down to see if the episode had any deep morals or messages to it, maybe held up a mirror to society. You're going to do that by rating this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 deltas as to how strong the messages were and just how Babylon 5 the messages were delivered. So what do you got?
Oh, Jeff. Here's what I got. Is a question of what do you value? Do you value life? Do you value life? Sheridan decides to use the shadow telepaths as weapons, and he gets called on it, or Franklin rather gets called on it. You're just going to use them. You're using them. You're not respecting them. You're not using them. Now, Franklin was able to go in and reason his way around it. They're dead anyway. It's almost like the Borg. Like, why should you kill the Borg? Why should Picard not have used Hugh as a virus? I mean, this was that question, right? And you can't buzz me because we're past that part. So it's that same question. Now, that stands in sharp contrast. That is juxtaposed to what General Leftcourt did. And it's this one line that he says. He says, remember, despite knowing who those people are, you've got to forget that. They are targets to be destroyed. Nothing more. That is all. He basically told his fleet, told his people, dehumanize them, take their humanity away because they're nothing but a target. Do not respect life. Just destroy, destroy, destroy. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years of watching and podcasting about Star Trek, science fiction, or anything else, the bad guys are the ones who disregard life and destroy, destroy, destroy. The good guys are the ones who remember, even in battle, just like Superman. No, Superman cannot kill the villain. No, because he respects life. Like, even in the battle, he's going to respect the life of the person across the line from him, even if they don't respect his life. You know, Spider-Man, same thing. The hero doesn't kill people. The bad guys do. To forget life and destroy, destroy, destroy. Versus Sheridan. Let's go back to that thing we put a pin in earlier and pull that pin out. You said, and rightly so, Sheridan and the White Star Fleet are not trying to necessarily destroy. They're doing everything they can before destroying those ships. Because why? They respect the life that is there. They know those people. They haven't forgotten that fact. We can look at the telepath thing, and I think you really got to look at why they were taking those people out. The idea they're dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sucks. But if we sacrifice these few, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, it's going to save 30,000 people. And that sucks. They don't have a choice. Now, Janeway would have probably not given them the choice either and just done whatever, because she likes to take people's choices away from them and, destroy their lives. Tuvix. But sorry.
It always comes down to Tuvix.
It always comes back to Tuvix. It all does. That would be the name of the next podcast. It always comes back to Tuvix. And that's, you watch every Starfleet show, every sci-fi show, whatever, and it all comes back to the Tuvix conversation.
Yep, every time.
That's there's a podcast for somebody out there to go make. You can have it. My point being, the good guys respect life. They don't take the humanity away. They remind you, they remember that. The bad guys don't. I find this is true in life. Racism. Racism only works because you dehumanize people. Right? As soon as politics, I'm not even going to take a side on this one. Politics only works when you dehumanize the voter, when you dehumanize the person you're voting for, and you just look at party. Because they're no longer a person with individual thoughts, ideas, opinions, philosophies on how things should go. It's just the liberals, the conservatives. That's all it is. The Republicans, the Democrats, the Labor, sorry, my folks in British, I don't know what the other party's called.
Did
the
you
Tories.
say your people in British?
My people in Britain.
There you go.
My people in Britain. Again, you dehumanize them, you give them a group, and now all of a sudden they're easy to hate. Okay? All those trans people out there. Well, I can hate until I meet my friend Robin, who is a person. You want to know, frankly, Jeff, you want to know how I got over a lot of my old hillbilly mindsets?
Huh.
I started meeting people.
Yeah.
I met a person. When I started listening to people's stories, when I started listening to my Black friends' stories and not dismissing them, not being, well, you got to know what happened in the video before they started the video, or, yeah, but if you just, no, shut up and listen to their story and take it for what for their experience being what it is.
Yeah.
That's how you elevate humanity. That's how you keep humanity on the forefront. Jeff, this is the quintessential Star Trek message. We value life over all else, and we don't forget the humanity. This is an episode that is about respect for life versus respect for no life. Was this the intentional message of the writer when he sat down to write? No, I don't think so. But was he very intentional in the idea that they disregarded humanity and just kill, kill, kill versus this group over here who Sheridan, I mean, how long has he been going through this whole battle saying, I'm not trying to kill you? He had a whole Jim Kirk monologue of saying, why doesn't he just surrender? I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. This has been consistent for him all the way through. Jeff, I'm giving this one 4 Delta Furies. And the only reason it loses 1 is because I don't think it was the intended message of the entire episode, but it was there replete all the way throughout. And I could be talked into giving it 5.
I'm going to back up your 4, specifically when it comes to Lita and the teeps that they sent onto the ships, because it's a sticky situation just in general, and I appreciate that at no point has anyone tried to even pretend that it was an okay choice. It's the only choice, is kind of how they came down to it. But when Franklin is justifying it in the bunker in there, he's like, look, these are the people that are beyond help. They were gonna die anyway. So, it's cool or whatever. I am reminded of the TNG episode, The Quality of Life, which is the Exocomp episode, which is excellent episode. And it culminates where Picard and LaForge are over on this mining tool, and there's radiation and it's going to blow up and they're going to die. They sacrifice themselves so all the scientists and miners could get off the tool. The only way to potentially, possibly, maybe save them is to send these exocomps in to do some science stuff to get them out. So Riker is like, do it. Send them over. Disable the thing inside of them that makes them somewhat sentient or have feelings or makes them human, alive.
Right.
And send them over to go save our favorite people. And it took Data standing up and saying, look, I know that it's a court-martialable offense for me to disobey a direct order, but I have disabled the transporters and I will not disable the thing. You have to ask them if they're okay with it. Yeah. You have to give them the choice. If this was a Star Trek episode, they would have found a way, just like they did in Quality of Life, to ask and give them a choice if they wanted to go or not. They did that, and the exocomps chose to go. And they even sacrificed one of their own to get back. Like they were true heroes. In this case, the telepaths that went over were heroes, but they were never given a choice. And so I think I agree where they hold humanity in the highest esteem possible, compromised it in this moment, in the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. But there would have been a mechanism. Shoot, Lita's connecting with them telepathically. There could have been a way to give them a choice. And I think that could have pushed this to a 5 Delta Fury episode.
If they had figured out how to communicate.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that makes it justifiable that they did not give them the choice was they didn't have a way to communicate.
But they did. She communicated in Exercise of Vital Powers. Like
was that communication? No. But was that actual communication? Was that sharing thought back and forth? Or was that, I heard this voice, I shut it down, he woke up, and we were doing this weird mimey mirror thing until I got distracted and then he dropped?
That's the beginning of communication.
Maybe.
It takes that much more to get there.
Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. They didn't explore it. The point being they didn't explore that piece. So
yeah, and I think
that you're right. I think that's a good point, because the teep thing is the most sticky piece.
Yeah.
That they didn't get their involvement or permission.
Yeah.
You know what actually would have made it even a little better for me? If they were soldiers. If they were soldiers who had died or who had something. They were a combatant where death is a real possibility.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing that would piece it up for me. Well, Jeff, I did Delta Furies. You get to rate this one. You get to put this one in our ranking, our 100% completely accurate definitive ranking of season 4 of Babylon 5. Jeff, you get to decide. I don't get to argue with you. Our current top 5 ranking, you tell me if this breaks the top 5. If so, if not, where is it going to go? Number 1 is Into the Fire. Number 2, Intersections in Real Time. Number 3, No Surrender, No Retreat. Number 4, The Long Night. Number 5, Atonement. I'm kind of scared for what you're going to do, Jeff, because even though you told me you loved this episode, I don't think you really did. Where are you putting it?
I loved this episode. It has tremendous flaws in it, especially for what it was intended to be. I will assure you of one thing. This will be a top 20 episode. That was really cheeky of me.
Wow.
It will not be a top 5 episode. I'll tell you that. But it's going to be right outside. I'm going to make it the new number 6, right above Between the Darkness and the Light. And I want to be really clear. This isn't just me like bagging on this episode. Oh, we're doing it at the same time. I'll get out. I want to be really clear. This isn't just me bagging on the episode. When I look at that top 5, right, this episode with its flaws and even the things that make it great just doesn't crack what's in that top 5. That's an amazing set of episodes. Season 4 has been incredible so far. And I think that's the thing. Like maybe season 4 has been so good that my expectations are so high that I just really wanted more out of this episode than it gave. And I still believe that I want more that it could have given me. The flaws I see with it were solvable problems that I feel they just really glossed over. But I'm going to make this number 6.
Well, Jeff, I'm not allowed to argue with you one way or the other. If I were to rate it, I would probably be looking around No Surrender, No Retreat and The Long Night. Really? It would bump up into the top 5, and I would hate to lose Atonement.
Yeah.
Out of that top 5, because that's the Delin Dreaming episode, which was just terrific.
Yeah, and that was kind of my test. There was just that point of like, holy crud, is this going to get above Atonement? I couldn't do it.
It's tough, and so that's what I mean. Like I would be looking at somewhere in there because I thought this was just an incredible episode all the way around, but I don't get that say.
That's how the game works. And Brent, that's it for Endgame. Next week, isn't that weird? We had an episode called Endgame, and now we're going to talk about the episode that comes next week. But here we are, and it's called Rising Star. This is our prediction game that we like to play. So we haven't looked at thumbnails, we haven't read show descriptions, we haven't watched ahead or anything. Brent just heard the title, Rising Star, on this one, and now we're going to guess what we think that the next one's going to be about. We'll be judged by each other next week on how we did. So Brent, pen to paper on this one. What do you think Rising Star is going to be about?
All right. I said earlier, I don't even need to hear the title for this one because I know what this episode's about. However, since hearing the title, I'm going to keep what I said this episode was about, but I'm going to add to it.
Okay.
All right. What I was going to say, you know what this episode's about? Sheridan standing before the Board of Inquiry. They just told us what was getting ready to happen in this episode.
Yep.
Right? Now, this is going to be in the aftermath of the war. Everybody is free. And I think Sheridan is going to be getting more and more and more famous. He is the rising star.
Oh.
Sheridan is the rising star. He's getting more and more famous throughout Earth. He's getting more and more clout. I think he is going to be offered some new position. He's going to be offered a promotion, is what I think is going to happen. Jeff, there is a particular job that has just opened up.
Right.
The role of president of Earth, right? That job has opened up, but probably more than likely a general, some sort of high-ranking level. And Sheridan is going to have to decide between this job and returning to Babylon 5, which of course he's ultimately going to return to Babylon 5 because we still have season 5 to get through. So that's going to be it. Also, we're going to clean up the Marcus Ivanova stuff. Because as you said, we didn't see them breathe their last breath on camera. So they're still alive as we record this. You know what they are? They are in Schrodinger's space station.
Right. They're both alive and dead.
Schrodinger's med lab. Like they're either one until we open it up and find out. But I think that's exactly what it's going to be. Sheridan's going to have to choose between this new position in Babylon 5. And I think he obviously takes Babylon 5. What do you think?
Well, to parrot some of what you said, he will turn himself in and he will face the inquiry board. I think, though, he's going to use the inquiry board as a platform to unite all of the worlds under one singular banner, the Babylon 5 banner. If you remember...
Well, they're already united. They just got to bring Earth into it now, right?
Pretty much.
Like Earth is the missing piece. So,
although I don't know that they're united. I think they were united in a cause. Like, what I'm thinking is
because the agreement was just to send the fleet out in support of Sheridan. That's right. Yeah.
What I'm thinking, I'm going back to our season 3 wrap up where I said that Sheridan was going to bring everyone together into an alliance called Babylon, and they were going to take on. I thought that was going to be what took on the shadow. It was going to be Earth and the shadows together. But they're parsing it out. So I think that this is where Babylon gets born.
You're sticking to your guns on that one, huh?
Oh yeah.
You're holding on to that one.
And it's right here. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We'll find out for sure right here next week. Thank you all so much for joining us. Listen, if you haven't already, go to patreon.com/Babylon5First. That's the number 5, the word first. Make sure that you are supporting this show at any level whatsoever, and you will be eligible to win the Babylon 5 Encyclopedia, the complete hardcover set in one massive paper book. We'll be giving this away at the Season 4 wrap-up in just 3 weeks from now. So, Brent, until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, man, what's up?
So, this war really only started like a couple episodes ago. But, if you think about it, tell me if you agree, hasn't this war really been going on since like the end of season 1?
Yeah, I mean, like since Santiago died? Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It seems like they should have just called this episode Infinity War.
Wow. Oh, man. In Valen's name.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
How upset did I make everybody in this one?
I
have a feeling that, everybody.
Listen,
straight up.
You guys out there can send your emails to jeff@babylon5first.com. And that's the number 5, the word first.
It's also not a real email. So please feel free. I watched this one 3 times. I'm just going to say that. Like, I watched it for the react. I watched it for my notes. I watched it again because I'm just like, I've got to be missing something.
Yeah. I think I wonder, Jeff, if and tell me if you think this is right. Okay. Does your real life military experience color the narrative gaps that this episode has? Is that conflicting?
Maybe
to not just go with it.
I think it's more than that. I think it's my watching movies and TV. Like, you usually get like the dictator or the big bad before they do something like this. Like, bloviating, full of sound and fury, but signifying nothing, and then they blast themselves or whatever. But this was just, it was just literally so pedestrian and felt so. And the whole time that senator was coming down, I'm just like, who's this lady? Like, what? I don't know. Like you said, it's kind of nitpicky, but also like just so many pieces of this. Just Clark dying had 0 impact to me.
Clark had 0 impact to me throughout the whole show, though.
Yeah.
He, like him as a person. So his death, I was fine with it just being.
Well, he was an idea, really, more than anything.
Yeah.
But the idea has to die. And for the idea to die scribbling some note fanatically, like on an almost Doctor Strangelove kind of fashion almost.
Right.
And then just to shoot him. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous about the whole thing, but I guess I wanted more out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you, do you know a finale that I loved when I first saw it? And the more I thought about it, the more it made me mad.
Which one was that?
The Picard season 3 finale. Remember when that one came out a while ago? I like I first saw it, I mean, I had all the feels. I had all the nostalgias. But the more I thought about it, and Jeff, I'm not talking months later, I'm talking hours,
Yeah.
days later.
I think I'm
I was like,
right here
wait,
with you.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute. That didn't make sense. That is, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because there was a huge nostalgia factor
Yeah.
that was absolutely right. I don't think this had nostalgia factor at all, but to me, everything was fine. I didn't mind any of it. Like, I was okay with just seeing him shoot himself and he's scribbling something, activating the scorched earth. I don't really. Why did he write this thing out and then circle the scorched earth letters? That doesn't. Did that activate something? Was it a Scantron that went in and turned it on? Like, I don't know.
Or was he
why would have done
programmed by
that.
Psychor maybe, and that was part of his programming, or him fighting his programming? That'd be
Was
cool
this
to
him
know.
leaving a glaring clue as to what he was getting ready to do, which wouldn't have mattered because they were getting ready to blow the earth up?
Yeah, I was there anyway. She looked at
why-
the computer and she's like, "Here's what's happening."
Yeah, who puts a scorched earth program into a defense grid like that? And by the way, that actually brings up a really good point. Whenever we get to that spot where we are looking to put up a defense grid around Earth, what's to prevent it from turning on us? You know, I mean, Jeff, this is every sci-fi. This is the AI takes over and turns all the stuff on us. So,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the defense grid fought harder than the ships.
Yeah.
Like, the defense grid should be an immediate first response, should be a supplement to the ships, not necessarily
better
the
than
thing.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think there's things that we can nitpick, but for the most part, I know for me, like, I really look at it more as we needed to do some things narratively and move through, and like some things we just had to zip through real quick so that we could focus on the other things. And
well, I think that's a question I have.
Those choices were made correctly.
Question I have overriding in this whole thing, I don't know we'll ever get, and I don't want it now. Let me be very clear to people. Please don't tell me I don't want this answer now, but what was shortcutted because of the season 5 thing? You know, what was shortcut? What was compressed? What was left behind? Were there choice? Was there a whole thing with Clark that like they had to cut that for time or what? Was this 2 episodes they had to turn into 1? Like, where were those sacrifices and cuts made?
Right.
Again, I'm not asking for real. We'll find out later.
There you go. There you go. All right, Jeff, I think with that, with Club 65, we're going to get out of here for tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Always good to be joined by those of you in Club 65. And Jeff, unless you got anything else, we'll get out of here.
Let's do it. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.
Yep. You guys have a good one. We'll see you back for Rising Star.
Rising
You know what
Star.
I'm not? You know what I'm not right now, Jeff? I want to go watch Rising Star, but I'm not like last week I was like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I feel like I can go to the bathroom, get some popcorn, maybe make some dinner, take my wife out on a date, go to sleep. I'll pick it up to I feel like
do it tomorrow, right?
I can be a break right now. Like,
yeah.
I can breathe right now. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really excited to go watch this next episode. All right, bye guys.
See ya.
Oh wait, with Babel, no. This is podcasting, right?
Right. You're like, oh.